Nina, I received this in the mail. I think you did too, in the email. Smitty wrote a piece entitled Confessions and Challenges, and I edited it down because it's 15 minutes long. I made it a lot shorter. It begins. It was midnight in June 1971 when finally, after talking back and forth all day long, I met a gentleman who was to be my supervisor, boss, and ultimately a friend. We worked together for 20 years. I really feel quite bad about the last 10 years. I don't know why, but for whatever reasons, probably just my laziness, I let go of that relationship. Well, I can't undo that. But at least I can try to set the record straight. And he was never given credit for his so many accomplishments and his commitment to a meaningful Jewish life. For now, I'm just going to restrict myself to Steve and his relationship with the Reform movement and the State of Israel. And I've only chosen one aspect of many. It really began when Steve went off to Israel and began meetings with the kibbutz movement and some of the individuals within the department, which was then known as Noar V'Hechalutz, Youth and Pioneer in the Jewish Agency. He came back with a gift. We were going to have a Shaliach program, and the very first Shaliach was Michael Langer. Together with Steve, he began to create a philosophy which became known as Reform Zionism. Michael was with us in New York for a few years and he was followed by some really wonderful people: Gidon Elad, David Leichman, Maggie Bartora, Chaim Sharet. But it was Michael who made things happen. Steve and Michael were not happy with the way Reform Jews were and the Reform movement was treated in Israel and the way they were treated by Noar V'Hechalutz. And so Schafer led the way. The two of them went to the New York offices of the WZO, the Jewish Agency on Park Avenue, to the office of a director whose name was Yehuda Hellman, Zichrono Livracha. Schafer and Langer spoke about the fact that an all-American movement needed to support the WZO. He said Reform Jews were the biggest contributors to the program. How come we received nothing? Hellman responded that it was simply a matter of the governing body of WZO, the World Zionist Organization, which allocated funds that came from donations. You have no mafteach, said Hellman. I'll bring you a mafteach, Steve said. We will form our own political party. We'll have a mafteach. We will have enough votes to be players, and thus Artza was born. It was the organizational ability of Schafer and Langer, with the help of Alan Levine in Israel, that very quickly, indeed, the Reform movement had representation in the Zionist Congress. One of the leading rabbis in Israel, a past head of NIFTY, a beloved leader of all young people, was Rabbi Henry Skirball, who was appointed director of the Department of Jewish Education of the WZO. The Reform movement now had a foothold. Congregational members began to sign up en masse. The other members of the American Zionist Organization were threatened as the votes were suddenly counted and the Reform movement outpolled organizations like Hadassah, and they were entitled to many more delegates. We began to get our fair share and more because of our presence in Israel. And that was the work of Steve Schafer. But it didn't end there. We now had a Shaliach department. We were a political party with a considerable voice. Now, no prime minister in Israel was elected who did not meet regularly with the president of the UAHC. We witnessed then the formation of Kibbutz Yahel with the support of Steve and Alan Levine. Then came a second Reform kibbutz, Lotan. Michael Langer became a resident. And between Michael Langer, Matt Sperber, and he should mention here Laura Sperber, the Reform ideology and the Reform Zionist movement was founded. We had a large office in Jerusalem. We brought the largest contingent of American youth to celebrate their summers in Israel. We were the biggest and we were the best. Not enough. Steve wanted a long-term high school program and college program, so he negotiated with the kibbutz movement to establish an expanded EIE program housed first at kibbutz Tzorah. Then he founded a program called College Academic Year, which was hosted at kibbutz Ma'aleh HaChamisha, and led to a very large increase in the number of kids who came from those movements on Reform Aliyah. And so here is my challenge. We live in a society in which almost every aspect of life is politicized beyond your imagination. Too many people take credit for other people's accomplishments in order to build up their own reputations. Too many of our leaders see themselves as the creator of the great ideas that really belong to somebody else. It's time to set the record straight, to state the facts, or as Steve used to say, don't tell me the truth, just tell me the facts. The facts of life are that great heroes emerge and their presence will always abide for eternity. Our friend and mentor and supporter who let us do our own thing, Rabbi Alex Schindler, Zichrono Livracha, used to say about Steve, he was just a man, but what a man.